Hey everyone. Interviews. Right. So I might come off like I'm bragging a little bit, but I feel like I need to preface today's episode by first letting you know that I've got a decent amount of experience with interviewing people. In other words, I'm not just taking this stuff off the internet. I've personally conducted hundreds of interviews, both in person and over the phone. I've looked through literally thousands of resumes. I've been part of interview panels. I've worked with temp agencies. I've worked with direct placement agencies. And as far as positions that I've hired people into, I've hired people into IT desktop support. I've hired into systems administrator roles, project manager, sales, marketing, customer service, will call. I've done hiring in the warehouse, like receiving and shipping, production, purchasing, and accounting, so both AR and AP. I've hired into mid-level manager positions like branch manager and supervisors. So yeah, you get the point. I've got some background in this, so I just wanted to let everybody know, let you guys know before I go off on this that I'm not just pulling things out of thin air. So okay, number one, interviewing for most people is super stressful and can produce a ton of anxiety. So personally, I think one of the most important things to tell yourself is that interviewing is a two-way street. You're interviewing the company just as much as they're interviewing you. So be confident and value yourself. It makes a pretty big difference. But do this without coming off as arrogant or entitled. There's a pretty big night and day difference between being confident and valuing yourself as someone who can be a genuine contributor and someone who just comes off as arrogant, maybe entitled, or maybe even delusional, more so if you lack experience or the right education. And with all this, you need to really realize that good companies, they want you to be the right person, as much as you want that company to be the right company. Bad companies might see it as more of a one-way street or type of situation, but if that's the case, you really wouldn't want to work for them anyways. Number two, stand out as much as you can. The more you stand out from a barrage of resumes, the better your chances of even being noticed. Things like writing a cover letter. Seriously, sounds like not a big deal, right? But it's just one more thing that'll set you apart. Let's say if half or more of the candidate pool, they don't write a cover letter. That shouldn't be an excuse for you not to. Again, the point is to stand out, being different. So have a higher standard for yourself. Write up something professional. Others will settle by not going the extra mile by doing something like that. But if you want a good job, you do need to raise your standards. So yeah, things like cover letters. Number three, make sure you have both your resume template and cover letter templates proofread by somebody. That's just professionalism, right? And customize these for each place you're applying for. Now, that sounds like a lot, but these small things do make all the difference between landing an entry-level job versus competing with highly compensated professionals to grab that higher-paying job, the high-paying job that you're looking for. Don't just send the same resume to every place. You need to customize and highlight your experience to fit the job you're trying to land. So share the projects you might have led or participated in that aligns with the type of job you're trying to get. Number four, come prepared. So don't wing it. Check their website, check what they're about, do some basic research into their industry. I even think you should look up LinkedIn, try to find the hiring manager or their department head. You just want to know as much as you can. So do your homework. Number 5, create a spreadsheet and make sure you have it accessible on your phone so you can quickly open it up when you get a phone call from a prospective employer. You don't want to be that candidate who asks, which company are you calling from again? Or, sorry, where's your company located? I've sent resumes to so many companies. These are very basic things that you should know ahead of time. You should be familiar with the company enough that whoever's calling, their name doesn't throw you off, or the company's name doesn't throw you off when the hiring person calls you. Number 6, if you don't have the work experience, you need to share other accomplishments. For example, when I got hired into my first entry-level job right out of college, I lacked experience. So what I did was I brought my 50-page market research paper that I did in college and my senior business strategy paper, and I really just tried to bring a portfolio of stuff that I did, the stuff that I accomplished in college. So things like that. You can also share examples of leadership roles you've taken in the past or activities that you've done in high school. Or to be honest, really even things like hobbies that show your passion or resourcefulness. For example, I once hired a guy, and the one thing that made him stand out from the other candidates, and they all had very similar qualifications, was that he was a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. That shows dedication and discipline. Again, it might not work for everyone. This isn't a guarantee. It might just be a personal thing. But again, all of this goes back to making sure you stand out from the rest. Number 7, here's something that's small but can make a noticeable difference, especially if you're prone to anxiety. Try skipping the caffeine. This helps me actually quite a bit when I need to do things like public speaking. Yeah, you lose the boost in mental clarity, and if you're addicted to it and whatever. But it's been my personal experience that caffeine kind of makes me feel jittery, especially during high pressure situations. So I start sweating a little bit more, and I just kind of amp myself up, and it kind of can lead to more of a high stress, high anxiety type situation. Number 8, avoid cliche answers. And what I mean by this is get a little creative. Don't give canned answers you get from the internet. Seriously, everyone does this. It can be helpful to go online. I do recommend it to go over all the most asked questions and the correct answers that go with them. But trust me when I say this, everyone else is doing that exact same thing. Especially the top 10 Google results, everyone's doing it. So just try to be a little different. Try to be a little creative. Number 9, to the best of your ability, minimize all potential red flags. One of the main things that hiring people do is to be on the lookout for any red flags, especially if there are 10 other candidates just like you that are functionally capable to take on the role. It all boils down to fit at that point and who doesn't have all the red flags, because red flags increase risk for the company that's hiring. And there's really no need for a company to take on additional unnecessary risks when there are more than one candidate that can functionally do the job. Number 10, if you don't understand the question, you need to ask for clarification, what they meant. Don't guess and just going down a tangent that has absolutely nothing and no relevancy to the question that was asked. You can kind of come off a bit aloof and not making any sense. Number 11, if you don't know an answer to a certain question, to something, and I'm not talking about understanding the question or the nature of the question, I'm talking about not knowing the answer, in a black and white question, don't make things up either. Admit that you don't know the answer, but explain how you would go about finding out the answer. This shows honesty, it shows resourcefulness, and it also shows that you can solve problems. Number 12, be respectful and give proper attention to every person that you might encounter, like the receptionist. And if you're interviewing in like before a panel, so multiple people, make sure you give eye contact to everyone, not just a few or like a few that you think are the main players. It can come off as very disrespectful. And chances are, if they're all there in a panel, lined in a row, interviewing you, most likely they all have a say in the matter. Number 13, read their body language. If you see them kind of bored, not engaged, glancing at the clock, glancing at their watch, switch it up a little bit, because 9 out of 10 times they might have already made a decision, so they're kind of just letting time pass. So they might actually be mentally like clocked out, or they may have other interviews lined up or other things that they know that they need to get to. So just keep your answers short and precise. Don't go on too many tangents. Number 14. The last question a lot of interviewers ask, that they typically ask, is something like, "Do you have any like questions for us? Do you have anything, any questions for us?" Basically, stand out from the rest of the crowd by asking something like, "Is there anything about me or the answers that I've given that I can further clarify?" That kind of question, asking this kind of question, gives you a chance at hopefully removing a red flag, or giving you an ability or an opportunity really to modify a previous answer that was seen as weak or lacking in some regard. That was my 14 tips for interviewing, and really landing that dream job for yourself. I hope this was educational. Don't forget to subscribe, and let me know what you thought in the comments below. See you in the next episode. Bye.